What up, YouTube? Welcome back. This is episode 5 of Curated Topics, brought to you by Curated Scents LLC. So, candle of the evening for today, we got another one of my pride and joys. This bottle was super fun to make. It's a little bit different. Just wait. Boom. Can y'all see that? That is a Day of the Deadhead bottle. This is by Ka Tequilas. That's K-A-H Tequila. The scent in here tonight smells so good. It's Polo Black. This is a cologne scent. This scent is kind of more subtle. It's known for being a blend of woody aromatics like sandalwood and patchouli, and that's blended with kind of subtle fruity notes like mango and citrus. Great smelling scent. Perfect for if you want to light the candle and just kind of, go about your day, you hanging in the room, and then boom, it's like, oh, it smells good in here. This is the perfect type of candle for that. It's not too strong, not very overwhelming. It's something you can kind of just put on and lay low to. So that's why I have that there. Can't wait to light that candle up. Love this design. I love this design. So the people who actually did this is actually a porcelain bottle, and the people who did this bottle, they are Anfora. So look up Anfora.com. They're like a Spanish porcelain company, and they do different designs and things like that with porcelain. They worked with 2 other liquor companies. I can't think of them off the top of my head right now. Those designs, they're kind of interesting. I like them. They're very artistic. They do a lot of curvy different shapes and things like that. They got some cool designs on there. So it's not even just for liquor bottles. They have plates. They have different artwork. They have all sorts of things. So check them out. Anfora.com. I'll put that up in the video and in the description as well. Shout out to them. This candle right here. Like I said, I can't wait to light it. But this was just a super fun bottle to do. Check us out at curatedsense.com online or on Instagram at curated_sense_LLC. Check us out. All right, we're going to move into our first topic of the evening tonight. It's kind of going to be a little bit of a longer one. It's something I wanted to touch on. I've actually done a little bit of training on this topic, and so I just kind of wanted to share it with you all. I hope it relates to someone out there. I hope somebody learns something from it and can use it to help them in their life and whatever it is they're trying to do. But what I want to talk about tonight is what's called a growth mindset. So I'm going to explain what that is. So a growth mindset, it's a way of viewing your challenges and setbacks as an opportunity to improve, as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and ultimately grow. We all here are about growth. We all want to mature. We all want to be our best selves. But in order for us to be our best selves, we have to learn how to move forward in both our successes and our mistakes. Sometimes the best time that you're going to learn is from a mistake. And so having that growth mindset, having that mindset of, okay, what can this lesson teach me? That is the way you move forward. That is the way you mature. And that's the way you become your best self and become successful. So where does a growth mindset come from? Well, it's mainly going to come from when the chips are down. You're struggling, you're going through a low point in life. That's where your growth mindset really is going to come into play. That's where it's going to benefit you the most. It's not necessarily going to come when you're, riding a high and you're on a up point in your life. Not saying that you can't learn from being up, because you certainly can. You learn how to get up. You learn how to be up. Sometimes you learn how to stay up. But also, in order for you to truly be successful and for you to remain in that high area of your life, you have to learn when you are having a setback, when you're in a low, when you're down and the chips are down. You have to learn from those experiences so that they don't take you out the game. You don't want to have down point where, okay, now you can't get back up again. The whole goal and the whole key to a growth mindset, when you fall down, you get back up. And that's what is the most important aspect of the growth mindset. Another aspect of it is it shows you as a person that your abilities are always developable. And what do I mean by that? That means whatever your talents are, whatever your talents are not, you can always grow yourself. You can always learn something. You can always add a new skill and have that help you to develop to become your best self. We don't all have all the tools that we need as soon as we come out the womb. We are not born with everything. We have to be taught things. We have to learn things. We have to experience things. And it helps us to become our best selves. Now, we're all capable, but there are things that we have to do in order to develop ourselves so that we can move forward and to be successful. Now, a growth mindset is going to help us when it comes to focusing on the process of being successful. Being successful isn't just about getting a reward. It's not just about getting an outcome. Being successful comes from putting in the work, putting in the time, and then you get the benefits from your hard work. A growth mindset is going to help you stay in the mindset of, okay, I got to keep working. I got to keep grinding. I got to keep doing this, doing that in order to get the result I want. It's similar to, it's going to help you stay focused. I would suggest that you focus on the process versus focusing on the reward. If you talk to people who are successful, a lot of them, they didn't know they were going to be successful. They had some sort of faith in themselves. They were hoping they would be successful, but you never truly know what's going to stick until it sticks. You have to see it come to fruition by trusting the process of what you're doing. You have to keep going. If you talk to people who are successful and ask them, well, what was the key? They'll tell you the key was being consistent. The key was I kept working even when I didn't see any rewards coming. I kept doing what I needed to do. And them having that growth mindset of understanding, okay, I have to focus on the process before I just get the reward. That is what kept them going, and that is what secured their success, because they were able to continue with the process even when it looked like they might not be getting what they need to be getting. If you look at artists or entertainers, actors, all those sorts of things, if you look at some of their early work might not be their most successful work, but then you see how they keep working, how they keep going. Then when they finally are acknowledged, then people go back and see, oh, okay, you did this, and you weathered the storm of not being recognized. You weathered the storm of not making as much money as you thought. But now that you are getting those rewards, you see what the work did for them. And that's all it has to do for you as well. Stay consistent, keep putting one foot in front of the other. Use stress as the engine for your growth. Now, this is probably easier said than done, right? A lot of us, we get stressed, and stress, I can attest to this. Stress can be debilitating. Stress can make you not want to do anything because you can't keep your head on straight. You can't, navigate because the stress is just giving you all sorts of blurry vision. It's kind of taking you out the game. If you can use your stress, if you can step into your discomfort and let it propel you forward, keep faith in yourself. Hey, if I keep putting one foot in front of the other, if I keep grinding and working the right ways, it's going to pay off for me. You have to understand that your effort, your drive, are what's going to move you forward and move you along. So step into your discomfort and let it propel you forward. Use that stress. I always say it like this: be comfortable with being uncomfortable and let it drive you forward. Effort drive, strategies for success, and collaboration with others are going to take you along. Let's talk about mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes in life. We're all going to make mistakes on our road to success. But it's how you learn from your mistakes that determine whether you move forward or not. Take your mistakes and kind of mine through them. Mine your mistakes for information on how to move forward and do that more successfully. So, let's say you're going down the road and you turn the wrong way. Log that into your brain. You've turned the wrong way. Maybe you have to take a step back. Maybe you have to turn around, go back a little bit. Now, in order to move forward, I don't turn that way. I don't go down that path. I don't make that mistake again, and I do something else. And now you're starting to learn from your mistakes. You're gonna know further down the road, okay, don't do this if that same scenario comes up. Don't do this because that didn't work last time. Do something else. Maybe it will work this time. So mind your mistakes for the information that you need in order to move forward. Now, there are 5 elements of a growth mindset. I think 6. I read an article and it said like 5.5. I'm going to put it at a full 6 in my personal opinion. Number 1, intelligence can be developed. Totally agree. You can be born smart. You can be born naturally intelligent. But there comes a time where your intelligence has to be nurtured. It has to be developed. And all that means is that you can grow your brain's ability to deal with complex problems. You learn from experience and you will take that forward. You strengthen your ability to do work every time you face a challenge. And that's going to help develop your intelligence. That's going to help show you what's the right move and what's the wrong one. Number 2, embrace challenges. A lot of us want things to come to us easy. I'm guilty of it too. I'll tell y'all a story. Early on in high school, I was not the greatest student, and it was not because I was incapable. I was actually very capable. I was used to being smart. I was used to being one of the smartest guys in the room. I could grasp things very easily, and it made school difficult for me when things got challenging. I was not used to being challenged mentally like that, or not understanding concepts. So I ended up not being the greatest student because I didn't know how to look at the challenge and embrace it and use it. I would think of things like, oh, this is hard, and it would frustrate me. I'll never forget this. My mom would always tell me, things aren't hard, they're just challenging. And I think about that now that I'm a little bit older, now that I've faced other challenges, and it really is true. It's not hard, it's just challenging. You have to just push through it. You have to find a way to embrace the challenge, take the road less traveled, and take that challenge on, because it's going to prepare you for the future. Studying is challenging. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of determination, a lot of discipline. And in my case, in high school, I wasn't always doing that. Sometimes I get distracted. Sometimes I do other things. When I finally made it through to college, I had a different appreciation for school. And I actually learned during my time out of school how to study, how to put the time in, how to just say, you know what, I got to put in the effort if I want the result. And by embracing that challenge, it completely changed me around when it came time to approaching college. And it made me a much better student overall. I knew how to study. I knew how to look things up for myself. I knew when to go to a professor to ask a question. I knew how to formulate my questions so I could get the answer easily and take it and go. I had a professor who was like, you'll come to my office hours, but you're only here for like 5 minutes. Like, are you good and everything? I said, yeah, I know what my question is. I know where I'm confused, and I know what to ask you. So he was like, well, hey, it's working. You got one of the best grades in my class. And things like that, when you know how to approach the challenge, you find it much easier to deal with. I wasn't always successful by my standards, but I at least knew how I would approach it, or I would figure out a way to approach it so that I could get through it and become more successful. So number 3, persist in the face of setbacks. We're all going to fail. We're all going to have setbacks. Setbacks happen. The thing about our failures and setbacks, those may be the experiences that teach you the most. Those can be the experiences that truly bring out who you are. My time away from school, first of all, it truly made me appreciate school a little bit more. I don't think I was like entitled all like that, but in my head, okay, I'm going to school. I'll be done with high school at 18. I'm going straight to college, that sort of thing. I had the traditional mindset for myself and for my life. And that's not how it went. That's not how it went at all. I ended up spending quite a while outside of the school setting. Once I was able to get myself back there by facing that setback, recognizing my own personal failures and facing that setback, I had a different appreciation for school and for what it was. And I looked at it as, okay, yes, I'm spending this time, but this is time that's going to get spent on myself, and I'm not going to let this be a deterrent from me doing what I want to do. I'm going to use this to help propel me forward. So you have to understand that in order to truly get through a setback, you can't run and hide, you can't avoid it sometimes, but you have to be able to persist through it. You have to keep moving forward. You have to keep grinding things out, all those things, in order for you to actually get through it. To get through something, you have to go through it. You can't go around it. You can't go up or down. You just got to go through. And like I said, setbacks happen, but by facing them, you will increase characteristics about yourself like determination, discipline, persistence, and those will help you come out the other side so much stronger. Experiencing setbacks it's kind of like building muscle. In order to build muscle, you have to make what's called micro tears in the muscle. That's what happens when you work out. And micro tears aren't anything but damage. And in order for the muscle to grow, you have to repair from those micro tears. That's nothing but building experience. And experience in life is like building up a maturity muscle. It's very similar to working out. Experience isn't always going to be good. It's not always going to be bad either. But you have to experience things in order to build up that maturity. Now, I'm not saying you got to experience everything, because there are some things that you don't need to experience. Experiencing life is what's going to build you up as a better person. All right, number 4, you have to look at your effort as a path to mastery. All the time that you put in, although you may not want to do it, working hard is how you get to success. There's no easy road to success. Success cannot be given. I know there are a lot of people who say, oh, well, nepotism and this and that. Yeah, but even with nepotism, there is a chance that that person will fail. And now they have been given something that was successful and it turned into a failure. That happens all the time. The only way to truly get to success is by working hard and putting in the time, putting in the effort. I know this is cliche, but practice makes perfect. Nobody is perfect. I want that to be understood. Nobody is perfect. But via effort, the practice, when you put that time in, you can get pretty close. You can get pretty close. It's all about trying to become a master at whatever it is that you want to do and you like to do. So in order to do those things, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort. Look at any athlete. They spend time practicing their craft. If you ask them, well, how many hours do you do this, do that? Man, these guys are out here working out 2-3 times a day. They got to eat right. They have to, go get shots in the gym. They have to hit 100 baseballs. They have to throw 100 pitches. They do things so that they can master them, so that they can be seen as professionals in their craft. And that's what you have to do in your life. You have to take the time and you have to put in the effort. That's the only way you're going to get to success. Number 5, learn from criticism. Now, this might be one of the hardest things to do, to be honest. No one likes to be critiqued. No one likes to be criticized. No one wants to be talked about at all. But the key to becoming that great person, becoming your best self, you have to be able to pinpoint your weaknesses. And a lot of times, we as human beings, and all of this is including myself, we have a hard time picking out our own failures, picking out our own weaknesses. And sometimes criticism has to come from the outside. You have to take constructive criticism in order to pinpoint where your weaknesses are and what it is that you need to strengthen within yourself in order for you to grow and sustain that growth. Being open to feedback is probably one of the most important things, because it shows whoever you're dealing with that you mean business. It shows them that you are a serious person and that you are willing to go through the critique and the criticism in order to be better at whatever it is that you're doing. Receiving that feedback and using it. Feedback is not always, meant to beat you up. Criticism is not always meant to beat you up or hold you down. A lot of the times it's used so that people can see your best self. I'll use an example. I had a review at work, and it was based upon me presenting to a group of people, and I was talking about topics and things like that. And at the end, my supervisor sat with me in a meeting and went through point by point of what she thought I did well and what she thought I could improve on. And as I was sitting there, I'm a person who likes to listen, and I try to take things in fully before I start speaking. And I was sitting there, and at one point she just stopped and she's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just listening to what it is that you have to say. I want to show that I'm open to your feedback, and I take this seriously. I want to be good at this." And she stopped and she said, "I really appreciate that, because a lot of times I get back and forth when I'm giving out feedback and things like that, and people, sometimes they can take things the wrong way." And I told her, "Well, I see this as purely constructive for myself. So I don't have any issue, hearing what it is that you have to say. I recognize that I'm new to this arena. I'm new to this job. I'm new at doing this work. So I want to make sure that I'm getting it down and doing things the right way." That's how you have to look at constructive criticism, especially when it's coming in the form of, work-related reviews or things like that. You have to be able to take that criticism and use it to adjust your game. Nobody's perfect when they just start out. And so we have to be more open as people to understand that not everything is meant to tear you down. Some things are told to you in order for you to be better at what you're doing. So keep that in mind. Learn from your criticism. Use it to help you grow. Use it to pinpoint those weaknesses and use it to strengthen them. Now, this is the one that they said was 5.5. I'm going to call it 6. So number 6, learn from others and find inspiration in the success of others. So whoever it is you look up to, whether that's somebody famous, a celebrity, whatever, somebody at your home, talk to them. Check out those interviews that they do where they talk about their process. Learn from their mistakes, learn from their failures, and learn from the process that they went through in order to turn themselves into successes, or the processes that they went to in order to correct those mistakes and turn those failures around. A lot of the times we see the awards. The BET Awards just happened. We saw everybody get their awards, and we didn't see the process in which they went through. It's a lot of lonely nights. It's a lot of writing. It's a lot of, faith. It's a lot of working that no one really sees. You have to truly listen to some of these people when they speak about their process and use it to learn and use it in your own life. They didn't just wake up award winners. They didn't do one project and now they won an award. That never happens. They had a whole process. They have a whole body of work. They have, multitudes of things that they do, and that is why that they're now getting recognized. Use their stories. When they talk about something, when they, put something out there, use it. Use their stories and try to apply it to your own life. Now, you may not do exactly what they did, but you can use the larger concepts in your own life to make yourself successful and find inspiration in them. If you see somebody who you can relate to who is successful, use that to motivate yourself to push forward. Okay, this guy went through this, and this. Well, maybe I can do it too. And like I said, you might not be doing the exact same thing, but that doesn't mean that you can't use their overarching story, the concepts from their life, and apply it to your own. It's all going to take work. So find ways to use that to motivate you to push yourself forward. All right, we're going to talk a little sports. Let's start with the Pacers versus the Thunder, game 4. That was on Friday night, I believe. And I got to shout out my cousin, man. He left a comment on my last video, my little surprise video. And he called it. He said OKC was going to get this game. I wasn't so sure because I thought that Indiana might have built up a little bit of momentum, especially with that game 3 win. But OKC came back and they pulled it out. Jay Will, he kept OKC in the game until it was time for Shea to take over. Shea ended the game with 33 points. I think Jay Will had like 27. Who knew that this was going to be their third guy? But Big 3, man, this guy is not so big, pause. He is Alex Caruso. He had another 20-point night off the bench and had some key defensive plays in this game. Very key defensive plays in this game. I think he actually had a point where he drew like a flagrant foul or something like that because of a steal that he got. He played his butt off, pause. 20 points off the bench, great night. And it was crazy because this game kind of reminded me of game 1. It was just in reverse. The Pacers led this game pretty much the whole game. OKC was able to keep it close. And I think they did have some lead changes in the first half. I don't quite remember, but it looked like the Pacers were going to win this game. And OKC they kept chipping away and they found a way to get it done. Shea was balling in that fourth quarter. He could not be stopped in that fourth quarter. Some people say he had a couple offensive fouls. That might be true, but I look at it like this. The Pacers, they did it to themselves. They did not finish the game out. They did not close out the game. They had too many bad plays down the stretch. They had these little weird ticky-tack fouls. I don't know what's going on with Nesmith. Nesmith had a lot of ticky-tack fouls, especially towards the end of the game. Shout out to Mace as it is what it is. He called it. He said that Mathurin is that player who he could go either way. It could be either real good or real bad. And Mathurin, he was not the player he was a couple nights ago with the 27 points. He had a lot of ticky-tack fouls as well, had some turnovers, and it was just it looked like the type of play where, I said this before, the game is not over until those 3 zeros come onto the screen. And the Pacers thought they had it. They were feeling themselves, and they let OKC get rhythm and get back in the game, not capitalizing down the stretch. You had, I think they had like something like 6 or 7 missed free throws in the fourth quarter. Obi Toppin got a play where he drew a flagrant foul and then he missed both free throws. You can't do that. You're not going to win the game that way. And when I saw that, I was like, I think OKC's got this game now, because you just kept seeing missed free throw after missed free throw. Bad pass. I think Halliburton had something like 5 turnovers. You're not going to win with Halliburton having 5 turnovers. Pascal missing 4 free throws. Obi Toppin missing 4 free throws. 2 in the last 2 minutes of the game. You're not gonna win that way. And we saw OKC do what the Pacers did in game 1. They chipped away and they came back and they got the game. So we're gonna see what happens in the game tonight, 8:30. I don't even know who's gonna win. I think that whoever does win this game though wins the series. If the Pacers are able to pull this game out, I don't see OKC winning in Indiana again. This might go 7. I kind of hope it does go 7. I love basketball, so the finals is kind of like love-hate, because I never really want the finals to end, because then we don't get to see basketball for like 4 months. But I think this is going to go 7, and whoever wins this game, they're pulling it out. So we're going to see. Who do y'all got? Drop it down in the comments. OKC or the Pacers for tonight's game. A trade happened. Now, I really want to talk about this because I have some questions. But we had a trade happen between the Magic and the Memphis Grizzlies. That's the Orlando Magic and the Memphis Grizzlies. Desmond Bane for KCP, Cole Anthony, and I think 2 first-round draft picks. First of all, I'm going to ask you all, drop down in the comments, who do you think won this trade? A lot of people are saying Desmond Bane is not worth 2 draft picks and 2 players. I have to kind of disagree. So the way that this went, you had Desmond Bane, and he got traded for KCP and Cole Anthony. If you look at their seasons this year, Desmond Bane actually helped carry the Grizzlies when Ja Morant was out. He had a pretty good year. If Ja wasn't playing, usually Desmond Bane was the one leading the team in points. I'm not gonna lie, he can shoot the ball. He can also take the ball to the hole. I think he's a little bit short for the shooting guard position. I'm not exactly sure how tall he is, but when I'm looking on TV, I'm like, this guy is kind of little. Pause. But I think he's going to be a great addition to the Magic. They now have more shooting, and that's kind of what they've been looking for. KCP stunk it up last year. He was not the player that the Orlando Magic thought he was going to be. He's still great on defense, but his shooting was very streaky last year. Cole Anthony had a decent year, but I think he just kind of cost them too much money, and they don't really know how to use him, because he's not like, he's that in-between guy where it's like he's not exactly a starter, but I don't know if he just should be on the bench either. In my personal opinion, he's probably going to be one of those guys who's like, 6-man, really good backup point guard. But once again, I don't know if he had the greatest year or not. I don't even know what his numbers are. So that just goes to show you that it's like, okay, well, Desmond Bane had a good year, but these guys, negligible years. They're going to want more than just those 2 guys for Desmond Bane. Now, here's where the 2 draft picks come in. And I'm going to have to shout out 520 podcast for this. I was watching them a little bit earlier. These draft picks are based upon where the Magic end their season next season. So let's say the Magic have a really good season. They're not going to get those good of a draft pick. So they're giving up maybe the 28th, 29th first round draft picks to the Grizzlies. So what? It's not like a lottery or anything like that. So this might actually play into both the Magic and the Grizzlies' favor. I think the Magic won the trade. I think they came out the best because they got Desmond Bane, and he is a pretty good player. They don't need any Like, they don't really need like new guys because they're a young team. They need somebody who's still young enough, but kind of a veteran in the league. And I think Desmond Bane fits that criteria. Whereas Memphis, I'm going to ask my question now. What is going on in Memphis? I have no idea. I don't understand anything that they've done in the past, let's say 4 months. They fired their coach like 2 days before the playoffs start, which is wild and crazy work to me. This man had y'all in the second place in the West, and you let him go for who knows. So you go into the playoffs against first of all, you drop down to the 8th seed. Then you go into the playoffs to play the number 1 seed with no coach. Please explain that to me. Like, how did you think that was going to work? Of course you got swept. You had no coach. And that kind of makes me think that that's kind of what sparked this. Now, I don't know whether or not Desmond Bane asked for a trade or not, but it seems like there is turmoil in Memphis. No one knows what's going on out there. There's some trade rumors about Triple J out there. They're gonna get rid of him. This sounds very dysfunctional to me. I don't know why they would do any of these things. You had a pretty good team. They're doing well out there in the West. Okay, maybe they want to do a little bit of rebuilding, get some younger guys in. But for what? You had a pretty good record up until you fired your coach. I don't understand what's going on in Memphis. If anybody has any knowledge or suggestions or speculations, drop them down in the comments, because I have no idea. They lost this trade, in my personal opinion. It kind of seems like they're going to try and do a rebuild or something now. Who knows how long Ja is about to be out? Who knows what's even about to happen with Ja? I don't know. This is weird to me. Magic won the trade. All right, last topic. We're going to close it out with some music, of course. Everybody who knows me knows I love music, so this is what I've been listening to a little bit lately. I'm going to go with my song of the week. It's called Black Man by Larry June. Black man, black man. Check that out. I'll put it down into the description. It's just a dope song from Larry June. Another Larry June classic, in my personal opinion. One of those smooth, I can drive in a car to this type of songs. My album of the week, or mixtape of the week, whichever you want to call it, I'm gonna go with Tracy T and Honorable C note. It's called I Ain't Forgot. Favorite song on that is called Fresh. Now this album right here it's a straight banger. It is nothing but hard beats, good flowing songs, good lyrics, all of that. Tracy T is probably one of my favorite, like, I don't want to call him underground artists, but one of my favorite, like, not as well known artists. I always have a joke. I say he should have been the fourth Migo, because he really would have fit in with them. Great sounding artist. Always comes with some stuff I can play for others. Little club bangers and whatnot. This little mixtape right here though, certified heat. Fire, dope, banger, all those things. So check it out. I'll throw that in the description as well. I want to thank everybody listening. I hope that the motivation piece really relates to someone. I hope that it helps somebody. And I appreciate you all for listening. Please drop some feedback. Love having feedback. As I said before, constructive criticism is one of the best ways for success. So I welcome it. Thank you to all my subscribers. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Check us out at curatedsense.llc.com and on Instagram at curated_sense_LLC. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.